hate that we're here again. I really do. I honestly hate that we're here again because it's not a fun place to be. It's not a fun place to be. So yesterday, um, the world found out that Moonbin from the group Astro had left this world for a hopefully more peaceful, better place. But for the people who remained, it is never going to be the same. It's never going to be completely joyous. It's always going to be with a tinge of sadness that you think about him and the life he led while he was here. And as someone who has been a fan, and as someone who's been a niece and a mother and a child of someone who has departed this earth, I can tell you there are no words that anyone can say that can make you feel comforted. Time does wonders with blunting some of the pain, but there are no words that are going to alleviate the pain. The most that any of us can offer for Aroaz is our companionship and our understanding, and maybe, hopefully, a little bit of a roadmap as to what you can expect in the days and weeks, and at this point, years later. And that's all I have to give today. I'm not going to pretend that I was a big Astro fan because you know that's not true. And I'm not going to pretend to know a bunch about Moonbin's life because that's disingenuous. I'm going to give you what I can give you, which is my year and my experience. So, putting myself in your shoes and starting from the moment you heard, I am so sorry. I am so sorry because there is no moment in your life previous to that moment that can prepare you for reading something that is so earth shattering. The way you felt, the way it took your breath, the way that it choked you up, the way that it made you feel like this can't be the real life. The frantic searching for information, searching for confirmation, the hope against hope that what you're reading and seeing is not what's happening. I understand. We understand. Then the flood of information that the algorithm feeds you. If you got it on Instagram, it's all over your FYP. If you got it on TikTok, that's all you're going to see for days, maybe weeks. If you got it on Twitter, that's all it's going to feed you. And if you were lucky enough to be disengaged from social media, you're going to hear from people who think that maybe you don't know, and they're going to send you text messages and tell you, hey, did you hear? Did you hear? Did you hear? Especially if you're a noted fan, people expect to hear from you. And in a really sick, kind of tragic way, people are going to want to hear your pain, and they're going to want to hear your grief. They're going to want you to help navigate them through a grief process that you're barely able to navigate yourself out of. It's the way that these things go. I remember being in your shoes and having people say, I knew I was going to cry once I heard from you. And while on the one hand, I know that people were being very supportive of me, on the other hand, it was like, don't look at me in my worst moment and expect me to kind of tell you how you need to feel. So I absolutely sympathize with what you're going through there. Next is going to be the exploitation. It is going to take everything you have not to lose your shit when people start making their posts and their articles and their videos about the dark side of K-pop and how your beloved was a victim of said dark side, about how the industry doesn't care, about how it's the fault of fans because people say mean things about idols, how they're going to follow your group members in their funeral processions, and they're going to follow them to the hospital where the body is, and they're going to follow them on the way to the gravesite, and they're going to want to ask intrusive questions. It's going to be awful, and it's going to make it hurt more. and you will be powerless to stop that. Then you might start getting some new material. There might be some treats that come through that remind you of their talent, that remind you of their skill, of their compassion, of who they were when they were here. And you'll look at those things and you'll break down because you'll be reminded of everything you lost, and you'll think of all the potential this person had. You'll also spend some time asking yourself, what could I have done to prevent this from happening? What could anyone have done to prevent this from happening? You'll want to put a blanket around the people who are still here. You're going to want to protect the people who are still here. You're going to want to go on campaigns of vengeance and vigilantism to protect the people that are still here. And then, if you have made it this far and you've allowed time to pass, you'll start to watch people twist and pervert the memory of the person that you loved. And there will be people within your own fandom who will tell you who's allowed to mourn them, how they're allowed to mourn them, how they're allowed to mention their name, what they're allowed to say. You'll have people putting on social media campaigns to keep them from ever being mentioned in any other way besides absolute holy reverence. And you'll battle yourself wondering, am I grieving right? Am I doing the thing I'm supposed to do? And I can just tell you, grief is just like anything else in life. It varies per person. Everyone goes through the cycle differently. The only thing that I can say may be the same is the fact that everyone is going to experience grief in some form or shape, but your grief is going to be different. Your cycle is going to be different. If you see a photo of Moonbin that makes you smile, smile. If you see a video where he's sang and it made you cry, cry. If you see an album that you haven't listened to in a long time, go ahead and listen to it again. Go ahead and shake your ass if the song makes you dance. It's okay. It's okay. And you might not be there yet. That's true. You might not be there yet. But one day, one day you may get there to where you can look upon their life and you can see it for all that it gave you, for all that they did for you. And there may be a part of you that says, I'm selfish for only remembering the gifts that were given instead of thinking about them and what they went through and the pain that led them to this point. And I'm just going to say this: funerals, mourning is for the living. It's not selfish to think about everything they gave you because, in a lot of ways, that's what kept them going this long. I'm sure that you knew that your beloved probably couldn't have made it if they didn't think you cared, if they didn't think that they were doing things that made you happy. And a lot of you may be saying to yourself, I didn't do enough. But you had no way of knowing. You had no way of doing more. You had no way of intervening. But if you ever sent them love, if you ever liked a post for them, if you ever bought an album, if you ever watched Countdown, if you ever did anything that was a show of support, you did everything that was in your power to be done. Be proud of that. And this is just a note for the future people because this also happens too. There are people who are going to encounter your beloved late, and they're going to be lost because they're not going to believe that they managed to go through life without knowing someone so beautiful existed. And they're going to feel completely lost about the fact that they found them when it was too late to really enjoy them, to really be a part of what made them smile. Marriage, please be kind to those people. I know I feel like, oh, you're just latching on because it's popular now. You never cared about them, they were here, and now all of a sudden you're the biggest fan. To be honest, maybe there are some people who are latching onto a bandwagon. You'll be able to tell who those people are soon enough. But give folks the benefit of the doubt. Let it be that some people are just now finding the love of their musical life. And if that's the case, give them a chance to get to know your fave better. Give them a chance to get into the music. Answer their questions. Point them out to videos that make you smile. Tell them everything that was good about this person. And maybe by talking about everything that was beautiful and everything that was good and talking about everything that made you smile, maybe you'll find your smile again. And the last thing I'm going to say is this: if you find that being engaged in the content is just too much, if you find that it puts you in a place in your mind that you know is dangerous, step away. It's going to be there. You can always come back to it later. You don't have to be a part of it at every waking moment. You don't have to be a part of the news feed. You don't have to make sure you always get the latest developments. It'll be there waiting for you to read when you're ready. But if you're not ready, step away, take a breath, go outside, live a little bit, and then come back to it. Or don't. You don't ever have to. There's no right way to do this. This is a note from one fandom to the other saying you're going to be okay. You're going to make it through this. It is so tough. And you might have to do some things to make it easier for yourself, but you're going to make it through this. And if your beloved could say anything to you, they'd tell you, thank you for loving me so much when I was here. The only memory that stood out to me when I heard about Moonbin's passing was that when I first became a K-pop fan, I used to watch the show Eat Your Kimchi a lot. This is back when they were popular. They've since divorced, things have gone to hell. And I remember every Music Monday, they would do a poll at the end, and it'd be like, who had the better such and such video, this group or that group? And it'd be the group that they just did the review on, and then it'd be some other random video. And I remember almost every time they would put somebody's video against DSK's balloons, balloons always won. And Moonbin's face as the little kid in the animal suit from Balloons used to be a part of my K-pop Music Mondays for months, almost years. And I've always remembered him as that cute little boy with the adorable eye smile. And it says a lot that being in K-pop for as long as I have, those little kids in those videos, Hello Baby and the like, are all growing up now. But it was a comfort to see him make it as an idol. Even though Astro wasn't a group that I followed, I was really happy to see somebody making their childhood dreams come true. And it makes me sad that, in my mind, this person who was a baby didn't get a chance to really live the life that he deserved. But I'm so happy that for the people who did follow him through his childhood acting days, through his trainee days, through his early days with Astro, that they got to see him really do some amazing things. And I'm glad that he really did get to live a dream for at least a few moments. I'm very proud of what he's achieved. I'm very proud to hear about what a close relationship he had with his sister. I'm really proud to hear about all the friends he made in the idol community while he was here. Even though Moonbin was not somebody that I followed, he's somebody I'm extremely proud of. And I hope that you can feel proud of him too. Thank you for getting out of bed today. If you managed to get dressed, you did amazing. If you had to go to work today and you actually made it there and are able to get through the rest of your day, I am proud of you because I know it was hard. And you're going to go to work and no one's going to understand why you're grieving, and you're not even going to be able to explain it honestly. You're going to try to explain it, but you're going to feel sheepish about it because how can they understand how embarrassing it must be? But just know there are people who understand. We are here. And so don't feel bad. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel like you should be doing anything other than what you're doing. You're doing amazing. I'm rooting for you. Have a great rest of this day and just keep trying tomorrow and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. I'll talk with you later. Bye.